Welcome to day 5, everyone. Happy Sunday. If you have been following me, then you know that we're on this 90-day comeback game plan for our company. And every day has been very productive. We've been really focusing on the business, growing, getting products, finding product market fit. Today's Sunday. It's day 5, and I'm just going to go with what we're actually doing right now. So it's not that I'm going to go and say, okay, it doesn't really matter. No, I'm really talking about everything realistically on what's happening. So maybe later on, when you watch this video, the day 5, for you may be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so maybe it's a bit different. But for us, because it's a Sunday, I really want to talk about how to take a break properly. And I fully believe in taking breaks, even during a 90-day game plan. It's almost impossible to go 90 days full out, especially if you, don't want to totally lose all your social connections or totally piss off your family or piss off your wife because she has to take care of the 3 kids on a Sunday, and also because you probably want that. Today on a Sunday, I took a little bit of a break, but I would say half a day. And what I want to talk about is how to do this and what do I think is really important. Because most of the time, people say they like it's weekend and they take the day off, but I actually think they don't really recover. They don't really re-energize. They do the exact opposite. Almost they lose even more energy during those days because they actually do the exact wrong things. So look, I come out of professional sports. And in professional sports, when you have a recovery day, you would not go and do any sports, right? So what you want to take a break off or from, you would do as little as possible. And at least in the business I am in crypto with Cake, obviously a lot is actually up here, right? It's a lot of brain activity. You have to do work, you have to talk, you have meetings, you have to do decisions, you have to strategize, and so on, writing emails. So, what's absolutely crucial on your day off is to really work on headspace. So, while in sports you try to rest your muscles, on your off days, you really need to focus on your headspace. You need to be present with whatever else you're doing. And I think that's one of the hardest things, to be really honest with you, for people that are basically on all the time. But then they try to be off, but they try to be present, and they kind of split in this middle, and it doesn't really work out. And one way how I've really learned this is actually quite a few months ago. Over those 8 months, I've been really struggling sometimes with headspace. Being able to really switch off, be in the moment, enjoy playing with the kids, enjoying a nice dinner with my wife. It was really difficult. And then a family of a friend of ours, actually a family that we know well, they really have a absolute dramatic health issue with one of their young daughters, 5 years old, and there's a really high chance that that daughter is not gonna make the next year, right? And this is absolutely brutal. I think that's one of the worst things that, well, could happen to anyone out there, right? One of your children, maybe not, I don't know, turning 5 years old. And so when we spoke and we discussed, then, at some point I said, I don't understand how is there even a day when you're happy? And how does this even work? Like, how do you get up in the morning and not just, I don't know, give up on life? And like they said, one of the most powerful things, they said, there's nothing I can do about it right now. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to enjoy every day that we still have. And we try to be in the moment and we just don't think about tomorrow. Tomorrow is not given anyways. Maybe, something super terrible happens today and tomorrow is not given. And this kind of really woke me up a bit because I think like many of us, right? We always think tomorrow is given. I think it's no problem. Sure. I mean, I can do these things tomorrow. Like I always try to think forward and to a certain extent it makes a lot of sense, right? But if you look at, for example, kids always live in the moment. If something happens to them, 5 minutes later, they completely forgot about this already. And if you try to talk to kids about what they want to do in the afternoon, they couldn't care less because they're playing with their favorite toy right now. And that's all that matters. And so, one thing I've just tried to learn, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but it's just that when I really am not working and I'm trying to take a break, is to really be in the moment. And here's the trick about it. There are certain activities where I feel this is really difficult to do. I think there are certain activities where this is impossible to do. And then there's activities where, at least for me, it comes very, very easy. And so, what I would tell you is look at those three categories of activities that really allow you to take a break. And I specifically focus on headspace here. For example, if I try to get off days and I sit in front of a computer or in front of a screen, most of the time, anything that's connected to the internet is like almost never giving me good headspace. It's either social media or it's some dopamine trigger or it's, I don't know, swiping through YouTube. Most of those things do not give me good headspace. So I know when I try to have time off, I try to have no screen time, no internet time. That's me. Maybe you're way better than me, but that's me. So I try to put my phone away. I try to put my laptop away and just really try to do these. Now, things that I have a really hard time, but I know this is really important. Obviously, many times when I play with the kids, well, the playing obviously is not as super engaging because my kids are still very young, 2 and 4, right? So it's not like super like difficult games where I really have to focus. A lot of it's just like playing with the cars. So I'm trying, right? But I know, for example, if I'm in a moment where right now it's just very, very tough, like there's maybe like a very intense like situation going on, and I really wanna, I don't know, have a half day off and I want to spend it with the kids. I know, and that's what I'm preparing for. I'm not gonna go and, I don't know, play cars with them because I know I'm just gonna be there, and half of my brain is always kind of thinking of work, and the other half is trying to focus to be in the moment. It does not really work out. But, for example, if I take the kids and I do some physical activity, then it's very easy for me to be in the moment and completely forget about everything. If we go to the playground and I'm have to pushing a swing or I don't know, we're running around a little bit, also not super good for headspace. But for example, today we went to Bounce here in Singapore. It's like a trampoline place where you can do a lot of trampoline jumping, something I like super engaging. We went to the swimming pool and had a lot of crazy fun there. So these are things that are very easy for me to just completely switch off the 90-day game plan and say, you know what? I know there's so many ideas right now. I want to work on so many things. I don't want to go to the playground because if I'm at the playground, it's very easy for me to get back to the phone, kind of get a bit of the thoughts away. But at Bounce or when we go swimming, it's so easy to be engaged with the kids. And so it depends a bit on how strong is your headspace already. And that's what I kind of base my recovery or my off days on. If I think of, let's say, things that I would do all by myself, right? For example, going for a run, sometimes very difficult for me to completely switch off because going for a run many times actually makes me work even harder. Playing golf, very difficult for me to completely switch off, right? But for example, if I go and play basketball, very easy for me to switch off. And so actually that's a funny thing. That's why I actually started playing basketball again because it was so easy for me to really switch off. Or for example, if I have to go surfing, very difficult for me to switch off because there's so much time in the waves when I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. So it's a bit harder to completely switch off. But if I go, for example, kite surfing, even though I'm way better and I would have to actually focus less, I can really switch off because it's so active. I need to do so many things in this very moment. A lot of people also tell me that I should probably like pick up boxing, for example, right? Because in or jiu-jitsu, because like you have to be so engaged and there's just nothing that you can else focus on. And so it's kind of this little bit of a staggered kind of challenge thing, right? So if you know your headspace is really good already, then well, then if you have an easy time to take a break. But if you also you know it's like super intense, then just be sure that you go in for activities where you really know that you're actually taking time off. And so if this means spending time with your kids, then just kind of ask yourself and be honest, what really makes sense? And many times I think you can figure out activities with your kids that really allow you to be super engaged, right? If you take time with your friends, for example, today, a very good friend Fabrizio came over, works in a company. We played 2 rounds of 960 chess. And I mean, I don't know, at least playing chess, there's like no chance to even consider thinking about something else, right? So I had this morning all the way from like very early in the morning, I think until like 3 p.m. ish, when there was absolutely no chance for me to think about anything else. And it was like super refreshing, super strong. And then I worked for a couple of hours. And then afterwards, dinner with the kids, put the kids to bed. Now I'm recording this video. And so I just really had a super refreshing Sunday or at least let's say half a Sunday. And I think that's so essential, right? I tried to do some sports, but yesterday I completely pulled some muscle in the back, and I just need to recover. I don't know why. I don't know, getting old or something. What do I know? But yeah, I hope tomorrow it's better again. So no sports today. I'm actually gonna go and take a bath right afterwards. Maybe the warmth is really gonna work, because this morning in the pool was a bit warm. Really did help my back. So yeah, maybe afterwards it works as well. So yeah, so I'm just trying to give you some thoughts on what it really means to take a really, really good break. And I think it's so essential because, to be fair, many times half a day of a strong, good break can be better how most people spend 2 days of their break, right? And so just want to give this bit of an inspiration, and maybe, I don't know, let me know in the comments. What do you think? What works for you? I think off days are extremely important if you do them well, right? And I'm not a big fan of so-called cheat days here, because many times if you do a cheat day here, it's actually not really fruitful. Because yeah, I think afterwards you're gonna be even more tired or more exhausted, and not a good idea in my opinion. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know what you think. Give me your ideas and yeah, and your feedback on this. And then tomorrow we're gonna start into day 6. We're gonna be discussing the MVP, and we're gonna go to work full on. With this, have a good Sunday. Enjoy the weekend. See you tomorrow. Yours truly, Julian. Bye bye.